The NFL has a lot of players who come in and out of the league. Those who make names for themselves and gain a following from fans for their respective teams, and opposing fans who respect their hustle in the league. However, there are also players who everyone just loves to hate.
Meanwhile, on first down from the shotgun, Cutler throwing out his end zone, picked off, touchdown!
Whether it's how good they are, off-the-field controversies, or controversies on the field, from dirty antics to dark demons, today at TPS, we're going to explore the most hated NFL players of all time. So with that, let's dive right into it.
Where's it going? Right to the center of the stadium.
Ndamukong Suh. Suh may be a Super Bowl 55 champion and a 5-time Pro Bowler, but he's best remembered for his dirty style of play during his time in the league. Suh also stomped on the arm of Packers guard Evan Smith, which netted him a 2-game suspension without pay.
About this one, but he's not going to get to play anymore this afternoon. There he is at the bottom of that pile.
Suh has been fined over $600,000 for personal fouls, and Forbes named Suh the most hated NFL player for his actions.
All the way down there. Ndamukong Suh, oh boy, he gets kicked.
Fans also dislike Suh for his on-field conduct and lack of public apology or remorse for his actions. Vontaze Burfict. Burfict was a hard-hitting linebacker during the 2010s, but he was extremely dirty during his playing career. Burfict's hits were tremendous and illegal, which resulted in fines and suspensions from the league.
Very great. Here's second down. And is that ball completed? No.
One of Burfict's notable hits was on Antonio Brown during the 2015 wildcard round against the Steelers.
Was talking on the sideline the whole time, it seemed like, to Vontaze Burfict.
Burfict's NFL career concluded after making a helmet-to-helmet hit on Jack Doyle in a Week 4 game against the Colts, resulting in a suspension for the 2019 season during his brief time with the Raiders. Terrell Owens. Owens is regarded as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but he has a bit of a reputation for on-the-field excessive celebrations whenever he scored a touchdown. Most notable celebrations included the time that he ran to the center of the Cowboys logo and celebrated scoring twice, and then was tackled by George Teague as a result. As well, he pulled a Sharpie out of his sock and then signed a football during a 2002 game against the Seahawks.
Where's it going? Right to the center of the stadium.
Owens also faced criticism for how he left the 49ers and Eagles, as well as his public criticism of his teammates during his playing days. Tom Brady. Yeah, TB12 may have 7 Super Bowl championships with the New England Patriots and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and of course he has all the accomplishments he could ever want. But TB12 is a classic love-to-hate story due to the constant winning from the Patriots. Of course, the accusations from the Deflategate scandal and the Patriots being involved with the Spygate deal back in 2007 did not help matters either. Regardless, TB12 would be a first-ballot Hall of Famer despite making many NFL fans jealous of all his success on the field. Patrick Mahomes. Similar to Tom Brady, Mahomes has really etched a name for himself in the league and made the Chiefs a championship dynasty. Some NFL fans hate Mahomes for his success and constant winning, while other fans just really hate his wife Brittany Mahomes and his brother Jackson Mahomes for their extremely irritating behavior. Despite that, Mahomes is just going to keep winning for the Chiefs, and non-Chiefs fans will continue to get sick of it. Travis Kelce. Yeah, similar to Mahomes, Kelce is part of the Chiefs dynasty that just won't stop winning, complemented by his unique style of play on the field. But I think most fans really dislike Kelce's public relationship with Taylor Swift, which has drawn the ire of fans who just can't stand all the new Chiefs bandwagon fans hoping to get on board their dynasty train, as well as all the attention that it draws away from the game of football. Yet, despite all the criticism, Kelce is a virtual lock for the Hall of Fame in Canton, and is generally a pretty likable guy off the field. Cutler. When fans think of quarterbacks who are good but couldn't care less about using their talents, they think about Cutler. Fans hated Cutler's on-field demeanor, with his body language showing fans that he just didn't care about his performance, nor did he care whether he threw more interceptions in a game than touchdowns.
Meanwhile, on first down from the shotgun, Cutler throwing out his end zone, picked off, touchdown!
Cutler was also criticized for his lack of toughness during the 2011 NFC Championship game when he chose to sit out the second half because of a knee injury, which was revealed later to be an MCL sprain. In fact, Cutler has been questioned about that decision to this very day. Chad Johnson. Similar to Terrell Owens, Johnson was heavily disliked in his heyday for his flamboyant celebrations, on-field antics, trash-talking, and controversial statements, as well as actions. One of Johnson's notable celebrations included him wearing a jacket with future HOF 20 ? During a Monday night game against the Baltimore Ravens in 2007. People disliked Johnson for changing his name to Ocho Cinco, which demonstrated his narcissism and appeared to be more of a self-promotion. Johnson was also considered a me-first type of player, who got on the nerves of many, and it just always felt like he was someone who could have been a little more committed to the game of football itself. Eli Apple. When fans think of a cornerback who's beyond irritating, the first name that comes to mind is Eli Apple. Apple is very hated for his on-field performance, controversial statements, and general lack of humility. Landon Collins, who played with Apple on the New York Giants, referred to him as a cancer in the locker room.
But that first pick, I don't think he's a cancer.
Fans also hated Apple for his performance in Super Bowl 56, where he was burned in coverage and is just one of many reasons as to why the Cincinnati Bengals lost that game. Greg Hardy. Hardy had a promising career in the NFL. Then fans turned on him fast for his domestic violence charges, and, well, he was found guilty of assaulting his ex-girlfriend and communicating threats. Hardy was released by the Carolina Panthers and then signed with the Dallas Cowboys, but, well, that relationship didn't last long, as Hardy drew criticism for his inappropriate tweets, tardiness, and just generally being a bad influence on younger players. Hardy was ultimately released after the 2015 season and hasn't been in the league ever since. Ray Lewis. Lewis is arguably one of the greatest middle linebackers to play in the NFL. I mean, fans outside of Baltimore despised Lewis's strong style of play on defense, while other fans don't like the guy for his alleged involvement in the murders of Jaquint Baker and Richard Lawler. Lewis was indicted, but the charges were dismissed. Lewis also invokes the name of God in everything, which can really irritate some fans. Despite that, Lewis is currently enshrined in Canton. Rae Carruth. Carruth had a decent rookie season, but everything fell apart for him on the field due to injuries. Then Carruth was found guilty of being involved in the murder of his then-girlfriend Sharika Adams, who was 8 months pregnant with their child.
Prison last October after serving time for planning the murder of his girlfriend.
Carruth was sentenced to 18 years in prison for this murder. He also just had no remorse for his actions until 2018, where he apologized publicly. Which, yeah, that kind of behavior is going to disgust a lot of fans and people out there. Luckily, the child was saved and actually recently graduated from high school in 2021. Conrad Dobler. The late Conrad Dobler was dubbed the dirtiest player by Sports Illustrated in 1977. Fans and opposing players hated him, but man, he relished in that hate and was dang proud of it. He treated games like street fights by eye-gouging his opponents, twisting their face masks, whipping their legs, and spitting and biting his opponents. Dobler's antics wouldn't last a second in today's NFL. James Harrison. Harrison wasn't just fierce. Oh no, he was a bully on the field against opposing offenses. Fans of opposing teams disliked Harrison for his lack of sportsmanship, controversial actions, and moves, particularly being released by the Pittsburgh Steelers and immediately signing with the New England Patriots days later. Harrison was one of the scariest defensive players to line up against, though, and fans just hated how he crushed the competition.
To do with that too, as they get to Petty again with James Harrison.
Michael Vick. Vick may have been one of the most electric quarterbacks to play in the league during the 2000s. But, well, once the stories came out about him being involved with illegal dogfights, fans immediately turned against him. Vick was suspended by the league and spent a couple of years in prison for his role in these fights. Vick did later redeem himself from his horrific past, but I think rightfully so, some fans will never forgive him for the dogfights. Hey, just saying, never mess with man's best friend. Ryan Leaf. Leaf is considered one of the biggest draft busts of all time. Fans disliked him for his immaturity, poor work ethic, lack of self-discipline, and just general negative attitude towards coaches, teammates, and the media. Leaf even faked a hand injury to go golfing instead of focusing on football. Leaf also ran into a ton of substance abuse and legal troubles after his NFL career imploded, leaving a rather bitter taste for NFL fans everywhere. Albert Haynesworth. Haynesworth is hated by fans for his on-field behavior. From when he stomped on Andre Giroud's head during his Titans days, giving up on plays, his general lack of commitment, or his overall laziness after he signed a massive 7-year, $100 million deal with Washington in 2009 and proceeded to do nothing. Haynesworth even said, "If you got haters, that just means you're doing something right." Hines Ward. Ward may be admired by Steelers fans, but outside of Pittsburgh, fans absolutely detested his aggressiveness, reckless style play, and the rule that was named after him after he delivered a blindside hit to Keith Rivers that broke his jaw. Ward was a hard-hitting, physical, and dirty player, and was named the NFL's dirtiest player in 2009 for his aggressive blocking on offense. Ben Roethlisberger. While Ben Roethlisberger was a successful quarterback and was absolutely admired in the Steel City, fans outside of Pittsburgh probably despised him. Roethlisberger was described as a guy who is difficult with the media and had a long history of criticizing his teammates and has been accused of sexual assault twice, resulting in a 6-game suspension, which was ultimately reduced to 4. On top of this, he's had a bit of a history with problems with alcohol and is just kind of a diva. Aaron Rodgers. Yes, Rodgers will be a first-ballot Hall of Famer. However, Rodgers has faced backlash for his diva behavior, overinflated ego, stance on vaccines, and alternative medicines, as well as taking a personal trip to Egypt instead of attending minicamp. As well, Rodgers has a bit of a history of being difficult to work with, butting heads with coaches and teammates in the past, and of course, the man has absolutely decimated opposing teams during his prime, most notably the Chicago Bears, who don't look at Rodgers in a particularly positive light. Tyreek Hill. Hill is one of the fastest wide receivers to ever grace the football field. However, Hill is hated for his dark past, which includes being investigated for domestic violence and battery against his son. As well, his excessive trash-talking on the field, his trolling on social media, his public detainment before the first game of the 2024 season, as well his public comments about wanting out of Miami and then staying, did not win him any fans in Florida. Look, Hill may be talented, but the man carries a lot of baggage.
Bro, I love that. I was fired up, dog, to see Joe New, to see Calais.
Brett Favre. Favre was absolutely amazing during his playing days with the Green Bay Packers, but fans began to turn on him when he retired, and then unretired. Favre as well had allegations of sexually harassing a New York Jets reporter, controversial public statements, putting himself above his team, and, most recently, his alleged involvement in the Mississippi welfare scandal, which has many NFL fans perceiving Favre further in a negative light. Antonio Brown. Brown used to be loved and admired in the NFL, but Brown took a blowtorch to his NFL career with his on-the-field antics, horrible behavior off the field, posting an Instagram live of the Steelers coaches talking smack about the New England Patriots, throwing teammates under the bus, getting the Oakland Raiders to release him due to his antics, alleged sexual assaults, and taking his helmet and shoulder pads off during the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Week 17 game against the Jets.
Helmet, no shoulder pads, takes off the undershirt.
Honestly, the list just goes on, and I think if you're a modern NFL fan, you understand why Brown is not particularly liked. Bill Romanowski. Romanowski may be a 4-time Pro Bowl champion with the San Francisco 49ers and Denver Broncos, but dirty play garnered a lot of hate from fans everywhere. Fans disliked Romanowski for his aggressive play, his admission to using steroids, spitting on opponents, getting into fights with his opponents, dislocating Shannon Sharp's elbow in a 2002 game, and punching his own teammate Marcus Williams in the face in 2003. Romanowski admitted to playing the game with a lot of intensity and hate towards his opponents during his playing career. If Romanowski played in today's NFL, well, he would be banned from the league because of his dirtiness. Deshaun Watson. Oh boy, where do we begin? Watson was once beloved for his style of play and athleticism with the Houston Texans. Then the over 24 sexual misconduct and assault allegations came to light in 2021. Fans immediately jumped ship and wanted nothing to do with Watson. So the Texans traded him to the Cleveland Browns in 2022. And fans immediately started hating him there for letting him play and giving him such a massive contract. Fans also hated Watson's massive dip in production when he did play for the Browns, which was only further further exasperated when he was injured in 2023 and Joe Flacco outperformed him and led the Browns to the playoffs. Watson's career in Cleveland is likely over due to a re-ruptured Achilles injury, and honestly, most fans out there hope that he can never play football again. But hey, who do you think is the most hated football player in history? Do you agree with our list? Is there anybody that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking that like button helps out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.